everyone, and welcome to Northwest Park. My name is Teresa Nodine, Environmental Education Coordinator.
And I'm Emily Carreiro, Lead Educator and Camp Director.
And today is a beautiful spring day. Earth Day is April 22nd. And did you know that the first Earth Day happened over 50 years ago to help celebrate the environment and what you can do to help protect it?
It's pretty sweet, but today, Terry, we're here to talk about something else that stinks. Ooh, garbage. Did you know that the average person makes about 30 pounds of trash a week? Over the course of a year, that adds up to the same weight as our cow, Strawberry.
You guys, think about how much and how many things you and your family throw out each and every day. It adds up.
It's important that we try and reduce how much trash we make and also make sure that we dispose of it properly so it doesn't end up in our communities.
Improper disposal of trash can affect our water supply, our wildlife, and even the health and cleanliness of our community. When you throw something away, it ends up in your trash can or in a dumpster, and it gets picked up by a sanitation truck. But where does it go from there?
Most of our garbage ends up in a landfill where it can take hundreds of years to decompose because trash bags just don't break down. In some places, they will actually burn your trash, but that releases chemicals into the environment that can be unhealthy. Is there another option?
We do have another option. Not everything needs to go in the trash.
We can recycle!
A lot of items can be repurposed or made into other things, and a lot of our packaging, newspaper, bottles, and cans, they can all be recycled. But how do we know what can be recycled?
Many of these recyclable items will have symbols on them so that we know what can go in the bin instead of the trash. So why don't we take a look at what these symbols look like?
By recycling these materials, they can be remade into other objects instead of sitting in a landfill for hundreds of years.
You can have a positive impact too. Let's think about the things in your lunchbox. What about the wrappers and the food scraps that you don't eat and your drink boxes? What can we do with those?
Can any of those things? Let's take a look at how the Mead family recycles with a lunchbox exploration.
Hi, and welcome to our Earth Day Lunch Bunch. I'm Josh Mead, Environmental Educator from Northwest Park, and these are my two daughters, Lily.
Hi.
And Emma.
Hi.
And you may remember them from such videos as our Beaver Lodge video, but today we're going to be talking about what's inside of our lunchbox. We're going to do an investigation on the different types of things that we have in our lunchbox that might be recyclable, compostable, or have to be thrown away. So if I were to ask you, Emma, if something was recyclable, what do you think that means?
You throw it in the blue bin.
Throw it in the blue bin. Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Lil?
You can turn it back into what it was.
So you take like a plastic bottle and turn it back into another plastic bottle? Mm-hmm. You are both correct. So when we go through our lunchbox, we're actually going to find out those things that are recyclable, but we may run into some items that are compostable. What do you think that means, Lil?
I think it means that you can turn it into fertilizer or more dirt.
Yeah, so we turn it into fertilizer or more dirt, because not everything in our lunchbox has to be thrown away. So you guys ready to go and ready to eat?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're hungry? All right, so why don't you get your lunch boxes up here? Now that we're all done with our lunch, we have a duty to ourselves and the earth to put our trash away in the correct bins. This allows companies and recycling manufacturers to reuse these products and turn them into new products for us. Plus, the less we throw away into landfills or incinerate, the less harmful gases we put into the atmosphere. So, let's take a look at what we got. Here we have our compost bin, and you can tell because it has the well-eaten apple symbol on it. And we have our recycling bin, which has the 3 arrow symbol on it. And then we have our trash bin, which has the universal symbol for trash, the trash can. So we're gonna go through our stuff and we're gonna find out where these items go. And we'll start with this box here, this juice box. Where do you think that this goes? You said it was gonna go where?
In the recycling.
In the recycling. Correct, and we know it goes into recycling because if we look on the box, we'll find a small little recycling symbol. And it says that this coated paper carton is recyclable. But we don't throw this in there, right? No, this has gotta go in the trash. And then we're gonna look for Emma, our juice pouch that you said. You said originally it was supposed to go into recycling. What do you think now?
It goes in the garbage.
Why? Is there any symbol on it?
No.
Yeah, I don't see a symbol either. And you're right, this now actually has to go in the garbage. It's a bonded plastic aluminum pouch, and that means that it cannot be recycled as is. So this whole thing right here is trash. And then we have some other things that may look very similar. If you take a look, we have that reflective aluminum on the inside, right? Where do you think this one goes, Lil?
It goes in the trash can with the other thingy.
Yep, that's exactly where it goes, because again, this is a type of aluminum film that cannot be recycled. But we have some stuff here that can be recycled, such as this guy, right? If you look on the back, it says the plastic cup is recyclable, but the plastic label is not.
So that must be the top to it.
The top is the plastic, yep, the plastic film is not, but there's also a little thing here, where if you pull it off, that's gotta go here. And then this gets recycled here. A little tricky, huh? It takes a little bit of effort, takes a little bit of work. Something like this, Emma, where do you think that this goes? It's very similar to this, right? So what do you think?
It goes in the recycling, I think.
Yeah, it goes in recycling, because I can see right here, there's a recycling symbol with a number 7 on it. And that number 7 means it's food grade plastics. And on the back here, it says that this card can be recycled. So I know that this whole thing's recyclable. So I'm gonna put both of those in there and, oh, wait a minute. Who didn't finish their food? So what do we do with this food now?
It's in trash.
Yeah, this food has to go in the trash. Unlike this food here, who also didn't like the carrots.
Why? It's gross.
So these carrots, where do you think they go?
I think they go in there.
Yes, the carrots actually go into our food bin, because those are fruits or vegetables in this case that can be composted, and then our container here would get rinsed and then put into our recycling bin. This, on the other hand, though, is a meat product, so that can't go into recycling, right? Or even in compost, because all the oil's in it, right? And even these crackers, to some degree, you don't want to put into your compost because they absorb water, and then your compost gets moldy. So some of that stuff just has to go in there. So we're going to dump that out. We're going to take this and put it into our recycling. Then we have cardboard box. That should be easy,
Yeah,
right?
in the recycling.
In the recycling, perfect. Apple core.
In the whatever this is.
You can't recycle an apple core? Yeah, you're correct. It goes in compost.
Compost.
Compost, very good. Compost. Oh, and then we got a bunch of plastic film here. Plastic film and more of that reflective stuff. Where do you think all this stuff goes?
In the trash.
In the trash. We got some more plastic film with food in it. Ooh, that's trash. What about this plastic? This looks like a food grade plastic.
But you bring it home.
I bring it home. Yeah, I don't want to recycle this. So I'm gonna take that home along with my reusable bag. Even though they're plastic, I can reuse this many, many times, so it reduces the amount of plastic that I end up having.
Yeah, you just need to wash it.
I just need to wash it. Now there are some other wax-lined wraps that you can put around sandwiches and things like that, which are even better for the environment, but this is always an option, and I find more readily available. So with all, oh, we got one last one. And then we got our,
There's this one.
that's plastic film, yep. We got our one last one here, and this is our tin can, or aluminum can, I should say. We don't make a tin anymore.
So bring it home.
Why should I bring that home?
Because you can make it into coins.
I could redeem this, right? Instead of recycling, I could redeem this for 5 cents. So yeah, I'm gonna put that in my pocket and take it home and get some money off of it. And now that we've recycled and we've got some compost, we've reduced our total amount of trash. How do you girls feel?
Good.
Good? Yeah. What do you think are some things that might be make recycling difficult in a work environment or a school environment?
Well, in school they only have one bin, and it's the trash can.
Only the trash bin? Okay, so putting a recycling bin in there, maybe it's a call to action for some students to say we want a recycling bin because we want to take, you want to start a recycling
I know
program?
they have like cardboard, like the milk cartons.
Yeah, that's definitely stuff that can be recycled. What about you? What would distractions? What kind of distractions?
Like when you're talking to your friends or in a rush, you accidentally throw a banana peel into the trash.
Yeah, and you saw that I had to actually take and I had to rip this off, right? So that took a lot more time and effort, and if you're rushing to get to class, you may not have the time to pull that off, and you may just take this and throw it right in the trash because it's easier, right? Well, that's it for us, and I hope that you saw that recycling can be done both whenever you need to pack a lunch. Remember, some items are more recyclable than others, and there are many options out there to replace plastic films and lunch items that have unnecessary packaging with them. To be honest too, when you make the switch to preparing meals with less packaging, you'll find that those food items are healthier options too. I would know, it's not as convenient though. Yeah, it's very time consuming, right? Well, thanks for watching, and I hope that you'll catch us when we learn how to make a coffee can composter using a coffee can and our leftover vegetables and fruits. All right, until next time.
Bye. Bye.
Wow, that was pretty cool. Now, Emily and I are in the Northwest Park Organic Garden where we have a number of different kinds of compost systems. We have a 3-bin system, a tumbler, and even a single bin system.
Now the composting, it's decomposition. It's breaking down those nutrients into smaller pieces so they can be reabsorbed by the plants that we grow in the garden and make our food healthier. Now none of that happens unless somebody's doing that breaking down. So we need decomposers.
So some common decomposers include fungi, so think mushrooms, bacteria, which are so small we can't even see them, and invertebrates, which are animals without a backbone. Commonly, you'll see a lot of worms being used. When you hear the word vermicompost, think wormy compost, and that's exactly what this is here.
These are mostly red worms that you see in a compost bin. They're smaller than the night crawlers you might use for fishing, but they do a great job with all of these food scraps. So, what's good for our decomposers to eat? Do they like pizza?
No, not pizza. It's best to stick to fruit and vegetable scraps as well as some paper materials. So think about fruits and vegetables you might have at home, peppers, zucchini, apples, bananas. Those are the things that are best for our worm friends to break down. Now the thing that we don't want to feed them, besides pizza, are things like dairy or meat, because think about what happens when those things get old or break down. They rot and smell. So that's going to attract animals that you don't want to your compost bin, and our worm friends aren't going to be happy with those either.
These smell good. Happy worms. Now, after these worms digest all of those food scraps, they do what any other animal does. They poop!
It's true. We call this worm poop worm castings. And that's all of the rich, dark material that's full of nutrients and going to help us grow healthy fruits and vegetables and other plants. Great. Now let's take a look at how we can start collecting food scraps to make our own compost bins at home or even at school.
Oh, how's it going? Josh here. I'm with Lily and Emma again, and in a celebration of Earth Day, we're going to end up making a
Coffee can composter.
Exactly. As the name implies, it's a composter that's going to take our food scraps and turn it into soil, but it's made out of a coffee can. So this is going to be a very simple project, very easy to do. We just need a sealable container. It doesn't have to be a coffee can, but the important thing is that it does have to have a lid that can seal so that no bugs get in. So we have our sealable container, but we're also going to need a few other items and tools in order to build this coffee can composter. So we're going to start with either a drill with a 1/4-inch bit or a common house nail, and those are going to be what we punch holes in the top of our lid with. We're going to use a marker to mark the top of the lid so that we know where to punch the holes in the lid. Emma over here is drawing a picture that we're going to decorate on the outside, and in order to do that we need some paper that's cut to size. So we're going to need scissors for that. You'll also need scissors to cut through our optional charcoal filter here. Now the charcoal filter will help with some of the smell coming out from the holes that we punch in it. If you don't have access to this charcoal filter, I got this from online. It is a litter box pet refill charcoal filter to help prevent smells coming out of litter boxes. You can use a plant-based dryer sheet. That kind of helps prevent the smells, but these have to be replaced much more often than the charcoal filter. And then we need some hot glue or expanding foam glue like this. And that is to help secure the charcoal filter to the inside of the lid. All right, Lily, you ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna mark on here about 6 to 8 different places, okay? And you're going to take the nail and punch through it, okay? I'll hold it while you go through. You gotta press down hard. There you go, there's one. All right, go. 2, give it a little twirl like that to kind of open it up. Perfect. Awesome. So now that we have the holes in our lid, we're going to size up our charcoal filter. And we're going to cut that to size. Okay, so now that we've secured the charcoal filter to the back of our lid here, we're all set to go ahead and put that on.
It's hot.
Yes, hot glue is hot, so you got to be careful. Make sure it cools a little bit before putting it on. There you go. Now we're all set with our coffee can composter. We're all done with this, right, Emma?
No.
No? What are we missing?
We are missing food.
Oh yes, we are missing the food scraps. Why don't you go ahead and drop those in there? There we go, perfect. And as you can see, it fills up pretty quick. So the bigger the coffee can, the better. And I guess really the only last thing we're missing is
The picture.
yeah, Emma's picture. Why don't you show everyone what you've been working on? Very nice. So we'll get that cut out and we'll get it attached. And then if you stay tuned, we'll show you how to make a different type of composter. This one using worms. That's gonna be a lot of fun, huh?
Ooh.
Worms. Okay. Now that we've finished our first coffee compost bin over here, we're actually going to move on to a vermiculture coffee compost bin. And vermiculture means that we're going to be using worms.
Wormies.
That's right. So we're actually going to be using worms to help speed up the process of decomposition and create some good soil. We're going to start with the same type of coffee can that I had before. And with this one, I've already put my charcoal filter on top of my lid. This is optional. In this case, you don't necessarily need to do that for the vermiculture. You could just leave it completely just plastic. You don't have to put any holes in it. Because the holes that we're going to be making for the vermiculture compost bin, the important ones are on the bottom. As you see, I marked out 4 holes on the bottom there. And that's going to allow for drainage for our compost tea, which is a mixture of the water and the nutrients, to drain out. Our worms don't necessarily like swimming. They're in the earth for a reason. So we'll start with that, but to catch the compost tea, we're going to use a bin. In this case, I'm using a tinfoil pan. You can use a planter bottom, something that you would prevent water from leaking all over the place when you water your plants. But this is what I had, so I'm going to upcycle this after we're done using it, and we're going to use that as our tray. So I'm going to get started and punching the holes in the bottom here. Now, you can use a nail with a hammer and punch through it if you don't have a drill. But because I do have a drill with a 1/4-inch bit, I'm going to use this to punch the holes in the bottom of my can. Now this can is metal and I am going to be drilling through it, so I need to make sure that we're taking safety first. So I'm going to be using my safety glasses. Girls, do you have your safety glasses? Well, it's not exactly what I was thinking of, but since you're not the ones doing the drilling, I guess that's going to be okay. There we go. Perfect. So we just drilled our holes in the bottom there. And we're going to put that back inside of our tray there. And we're going to now put a newspaper bottom inside of our tray. That way it provides a little bit of food for our worms, but it also provides a bedding that they can move around through. I guess so they can go sleepy. So Lily, why don't you put a couple inches in there?
Wow.
All right.
It's getting everywhere.
Yep, getting everywhere. So that looks good. There we go. Perfect. So now that we got all of our newspaper in there, this was actually packing paper, slightly different, but still edible for the red wrigglers, which is the worms that we're going to be using. So we have these red wrigglers, and I've been farming them for about a year now. And we're going to use these guys, but you can definitely go outside and grab some earthworms. Lily, why don't you go ahead and put those in. So as you can see, we have some of our worms right there. Yep. Lily's pointing right at it.
Oh, and then there's another one down there.
We probably have some other insects inside of there. They're going to help with decomposition, but that should be enough for us to start putting in some of our scraps. Emma finished up with her drawing, and as you can see, she put some worms on the outside of the worm bin 1. And both of these are composters, and they both work in creating soil, right? But they do it in different ways. So we're doing our part this Earth Day to make sure that we take our food scraps, our vegetables, our greens, and our browns, such as our newspapers and things like that, and turning that into compost. And we'll see how this works in about a month or so, see if we start getting some dirt. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and I hope you have a good Earth Day.
Bye.
That was pretty cool and seemed pretty easy. I hope you guys can do that at home. Now, we learned a lot today about thinking differently about our trash. Can something be recycled? Can it be composted? Or does it really have to be thrown away?
Now we hope that you'll share what you learned today with your family and friends, because the small actions of many people can add up to a big change to help improve our community.
We also encourage you to come to Northwest Park, enjoy our trails, come to some of our programs, meet our animals, and definitely look at summer camp. We have a blast. Happy Earth Day!
Hope to see you soon.